Have you guys ever made a scrap journal with no sewing? Like, have you ever gathered up a whole bunch of scraps, a box of washi tape, and just kind of sat down and created a little scrappy journal? Because if you haven't, I suggest you start. These little scrappy journals have been the most fun project I've had in quite a long time. If you watched my last video, you know that I have been experiencing kind of a lack of inspiration, a lack of creativity when it comes to journaling. And so I decided to try and use just a plain journal and kind of journal any way that I wanted to, with no rules, no sort of format, no content rules or anything, and just kind of see where it took me. And so I've been doing that on and off, but I've also started bending to the other dimensions of my personality. And by that, I mean the creative dimensions of my personality. And so before, I would always feel like I had to do something in my journal because I was going to fall behind. And I did not want to fall behind. That was one thing I did not want to do, is fall behind in my journal, because gosh, there was going to be so much to make up because there were all these rules and restrictions and things I needed to document. But once I put that to the side, I made more time for the other things that I wanted to do in my life. And I've been spending a lot of time in my garden. I've been sewing again. I've been doing crafts with my kids, making bracelets. And by doing that, it really opened up a whole new creative door. And I cannot stop making these little journals out of these scraps. As you can see, it's a really simple premise. All you do is fold a bunch of scraps and use some washi tape to tape down and create a signature. There's no sewing, there's no matching, there's no measuring. There's just ripping and feeling and adding and seeing. And you're using all 5 of your senses to really create these journals. And it's been a really amazing process. It's earthy and it's organic and it's unique. And I just love the way that they are turning out. I can't stop making these. I made one for myself. I'm going to be turning 46 in October. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to document what it means to be 45 right now before it's too late, because I'm sure that'll be an interesting read later on in life. And so I've made one for that. I've made some for my kids. I've made one to document books I've been reading. There's so many things that these little journals, so many purposes that they can serve. It's just amazing. I have no rules. I have no format. But by doing this over and over, I've sort of developed a rhythm where I like to keep all of my pages paper, but I like to add a little bit of fabric or lace or some sort of vintage textile to the cover, and that adds a little bit of texture. I have a box of tags, and I decided to add a tag to each cover. I just like the way that it looks, and I like sort of having it as a flip open, and on the inside you can do some journaling or add some pictures to it. And then I also have been adding a sentiment. I have so many sentiment stickers in my stash, and they just don't really ever get used. And so that is sort of really the only 2 rules that I have been adhering to. And I just love the way these little charms, I've never used charms before as much as I have now. And I have so many, and I just love the way that they look on the cover of these journals. I really hope that you give this type of journal making a try if you're stuck in a rut, or if you just want to try something new. They are so much fun, and they're just so beautiful, and they're so creatively freeing. I can't stress that enough. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.